What's going on, nation? I'm Scott from MuscularStrength.com, and in today's video, I'm going to show you guys how to activate your mid and lower traps so that when you start to perform your workouts, you're able to target these areas a bit easier, improve your mind-muscle connection, and start to see more growth in your workouts. Now, obviously, there's upper traps as well, but the reason why we're not targeting upper traps or trying to warm up the upper traps is because, if anything, the upper traps get overworked. That's why a lot of people have rounded shoulders or elevated shoulders. And obviously, guys, the easiest way to hit your upper traps is by doing super heavy above the knee rack pulls. And we've made plenty of videos about that. But the mid and lower traps are a bit harder to target, which is why the majority of us have a hard time building them, regardless of doing exercises that target that specific area. So what we want to do is spend a little bit of time working with some bands in order to activate that area, create a stronger mind-muscle connection before we get into exercises that we can utilize to overload to build muscle. There's no point in going into the exercises that overload an area if you don't know how to properly activate it first. And what you're going to do, guys, you're going to attach a band to a high structure, okay? You can probably do this with a cable machine. If you don't have access to bands, that's totally fine. But one of the good things about bands is that the resistance increases as you create more tension. So if you have access to a band, I'd rather you use that. Now, all you're going to do, guys, is something very simple. You're going to take a few steps back so you can create some resistance in the band. So you don't want to be so close that they're slack, and you want to do one arm at a time. You take a few steps back to create some resistance here. And then once you're in this position, guys, what you're going to do is you're going to let your arm hang forward as much as possible, and then you're going to retract and then depress your scapula. Just like this. You're going to hold it for a second, return back to the starting position, and repeat. And the reason why we're retracting and then depressing the scapula is because the mid traps are going to be mostly involved in the retraction, and the lower traps are going to be mostly involved in the depression. So by doing both of these movements, we're activating that entire area. And then obviously, once you do one side, make sure you go to the other side. And again, I want you guys just doing 10 repetitions per side. Pull back, depress down, hold for a second, return back to the starting position, retract, depress down, hold, return back to the starting position. And you only need to do this once. But if you feel like you need to do it a few times, that's totally okay. But as long as you do 10 repetitions per side and you focus on activating the area. And guys, don't use the heaviest band you can find. The purpose of this is activation, not muscle growth. We're just trying to target the area, wake up the muscle fibers, and get that mind-muscle connection improved. And then the exercise I want you guys to do is the seated dumbbell high pull. Now, this is going to look similar to a bent over row, but the mechanics are a bit different. You're going to stand with your feet together like this, seated on a bench. You're going to grab a pair of dumbbells, and then once you have the dumbbells, you're going to sit up and try to be at like a 45-degree angle. And the goal of this is not to shrug the weight. We're trying to pull it back like this and really hit those mid and lower traps. So with weight, it looks something like this. Sit up straight, keep your core tight, pull back, come back down, pull back, come back down. And when you guys do the actual movement, it's not going to feel like there's much range of motion happening, and that's because there really isn't. So it's okay to feel that way. And now you can overload with this utilizing my cheat and recover technique, which would result in having to use a bit of momentum and then fighting the negative. So for those of you doing cheat and recover, if you want to throw this exercise into the program, you can do it on back day, but simply come down like this and then use momentum to thrust your back up and then fight the negative on the way down, and then repeat for reps. Fight the negative on the way down, and then use that momentum. And then obviously as soon as you do your 8 cheat reps, you're going to go into your 8 recover reps, which is proper form, which looks like this. So there you guys have it. If you're having a hard time hitting those mid and lower traps, utilizing the band will definitely help activate the area, and then coming over here to do a seated dumbbell high pull will definitely help target that area for some muscle growth. If you guys are enjoying the series, be sure to smash that like and subscribe button, and as always, more good stuff coming soon. See you guys.